We are Sydney, the team from Sydney FC. Sorry, I had to do that at the start because we were delayed from yesterday. I'm Chris.
I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. We were a day later than we were going to be because I was a bit busy. Much like George Columbaris, I was a bit focused on the A-League Grand Final. Unlike George, I had a really good night.
And you weren't even photographed or filmed.
No, there was no footage of me. It was wonderful.
Being escorted away by police.
There could have been. Anyway.
There could have been.
I
didn't get my camera out fast enough.
It was a very loud yell. Anyway, so we delayed that because I was being highly unprofessional by celebrating a football victory rather than recording a podcast about a life or death cooking show. And for that, mea culpa.
Yes, you missed the halloumi.
I missed halloumi, and you know me and halloumi. We're best friends.
Yeah,
we're
good
best
friends with halloumi.
Again, just to quickly recap, and by quickly recap, I mean just making a few general statements about last night. The first thing that I'll comment on is halloumi is the hero of halloumi.
Yes.
You don't need to do anything to it.
No.
I think I put forward to you my suggestion as to how to hero the halloumi was to make some god-awful meal and put just a slab of halloumi down next to it. And when
Grilled, of course.
Yeah, and when they said, well, how have you heroed the halloumi? Well, after you eat that crap, that halloumi is going to be gorgeous. I've just heroed the halloumi. Congratulations, I win.
Yes, you can make a crap dish, put halloumi on with a little cape, going in to save the dish with its gorgeous flavour.
Captain Halloumi.
Yeah, look, it's heroing itself. Heroing is not a verb.
No, it's not. Living is.
Yeah.
Being lived is.
Not heroing. And I don't give a shit if there's a lot of alliteration. There's too many. How am I going to hero the halloumi?
We're going to have to complete. We've talked about it before, and it's obviously been up previously, but we need to redo MasterChef Bingo. But it just needs to be the variations on the theme of heroing. Champion. I've heard championing a couple of times. I've heard heroing. Fine. I've heard featuring. It's fine.
Change it up.
It's not a play on the West End, people. You're not featuring anything.
Yeah, but it's fucking better than heroing, and that's all we heard last night. Not if all
you hear is featuring for weeks and weeks and weeks. Actually, makes it sound like an episode of Bewitched.
That's starring.
Starring.
With a guest star.
But then I'm expecting a montage of people ducking into shot and smiling like an 80s sitcom.
What if you say "and with"? They go through the whole cast, and then those
with
two
Charles
people...
Bud Tingwell as Gramps.
Yes.
Charlie, we love you. Anyway, so back to the cooking show we're talking about.
Yes.
Because that is what we're talking about.
Oh, that's right.
I couldn't believe last night that taking people's toys away meant they forgot how to cook.
I know. I don't have a blast chiller. How the fuck will I make ice cream or any kind of dessert?
They meant freezer, right? They had to mean freezer. I went
Who was talking about Callan having a blast chiller?
That was what I was saying about the fact that Callan had a blast chiller. So how do you have a blast chiller? That's impossible.
Oh, God.
It's impossible. I'm sure they meant freezer.
Yeah.
We've got freezers.
Yes. But let's just call it a blast chiller from now on.
I think from here on in it's going to be a blast chiller.
Yes.
So last night there were a few things that we learned, and we sort of learned. Mm-hmm. I questioned you after I watched the episode.
Yes.
And the question that I asked you, and not in a malicious way, please don't take this as malicious. Has Lee done anything to prove that he can cook? And from what we saw tonight, he can.
He's just not quite there yet.
Just not the most attentive person in the world.
No, he's not quite there. I think he's got the beginnings of being a great cook, but I think he needs a bit more time. He doesn't seem to have the time management skills and that little attention to detail. I mean, Ray was all over the shop too.
Well, before we get to that, the three going through to immunity.
Yes.
I think we've got a favourite in that. One of our favourites at the moment, I think, is
Sarah.
She's doing some great stuff.
Love
the girls,
how her brain works.
All the girls, and everything I've said, all the girls are going through.
They're women.
All the women through to immunity.
Yes.
And all the gentlemen.
No, they're just men.
Oh, shut up, they're gentlemen now.
Guys. Boys.
No, they're gentlemen.
No, let's gender reverse. They're boys now. Don't give me that look, you bucketing. Okay, they're gentlemen.
The gentlemen.
The gentlemen as opposed to the ladies.
All sucked. Anyway.
No, there was some middling. There were lots in the middle.
No, but the three in particular were terrible.
They were.
They weren't. Someone like they were slightly off or whatever. Everybody's favourite crane operator. It looked like
Pete!
I don't know when Pete decided he was going to throw that on at the end. I don't know if he hit his plate or the three in front.
I just think he took inspiration for his plating from the top of a toilet seat.
It was very urinal-esque.
It's just like...
It was very urinal-esque. It was sort of like splatters everywhere. Not that you've necessarily been in near a urinal, but...
Hey, 2 weeks ago, I went back to my 20s and I went back to see the Tea Party. Shout out to the Tea Party. They're awesome.
And they're listening, definitely.
Absolutely. You know, Jeff Martin is like all about the washing up and MasterChef and Bake Off. Anyway, and we ended up going to use the men's bathroom. One, because we were invited, and two, because the queue to the women's was so fucking long. So, yeah, I've seen urinals.
It looked like a urinal, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It really did.
And the halloumi was a little soap.
It was. And I can say, as a gentleman, we aim
For the soap.
for the soap. And so that was pretty poor. And anyone who makes a vegetable stack, in my opinion, goes way down. I think it was Matt Preston who went, go and find the 70s and 80s cookbook that you got it from.
And put it
back in there and close the book up and never open it again.
Do you think his children are the type that get given carob and are told it's chocolate?
I think so. I think it is. It does strike me as potentially a carob household. And he's like, this is what this is the way my children like to eat vegetables. But later on, he said, when he was talking about the one tonight with the peas, oh, my second child would eat this because she doesn't care what it looks like. It's about flavour to her. Which means the first one would have looked at it and gone, God, no.
What do you call this? Kermit vomit?
It did look like Kermit vomit. But a vegetable stack will get you through to that every single time. It was poor. There was not much to it. And then, I can't even remember. What did Lee fail to cook?
He started
That's right. Lee ended up just putting a block of halloumi inside some pastry.
The issue with Lee and with Pete is that they both went in with ideas that they thought they could cram the brief onto. So Lee was thinking, okay, I'm going to go in and cook fish. I'm going to cook a snapper. It'll be brilliant. Everyone likes a snapper. I was trying to do my Irish accent.
It's a really good Irish accent.
Oh, to be sure. So there's Lee. He's cooking his snapper. And then George and Gary come up and go, where's the halloumi? Well, they don't, because they don't have an Irish accent. They've gone, where's the halloumi? Where's the cheese?
No, what they've done, it was George, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So George came up, and said, so the halloumi, like it's a dish, like the halloumi, So what you got to do, is like, have the halloumi, I'm not paying you. Anyway, so
and you can do fish and halloumi like Sarah showed. It's just you got to choose the right fish, and she chose whiting because she said it's got a very delicate flavour, so it wouldn't outshine the halloumi. And he goes, snapper. And we'll just have some halloumi with it. And the same with Pete. He's gone, I've read this Heston Blumenthal thing. I want to be fancy. I'm going to throw the halloumi and the ducker because, as we all know, nothing gets lost in the taste of ducker.
People want ducker.
But the difference is they gave Lee at least a good, half hour. Come up to Pete with 8 minutes to go and gone, dude, where's the halloumi?
Yeah, again, he had time to change it. And they just walked up to Pete with 8 minutes and gone. And it was the way they went, you've got 8 minutes to plate something. Which is possible.
Yeah.
But they didn't say it with any hope. It was just it was like, I could potentially fly to the moon and back.
Exactly.
It's very unlikely. It's possible.
If you learn to bend space and time.
So they ended up in tonight's delightful elimination challenge. And by delightful, I mean it was full of peas.
Yeah, but I do want to mention, I think Eloise did a bang-up job with her pumpkin tartare.
Yes, she did.
It was beautiful. I would like Menu Fidel to come in and go, oh, I love the tartare.
You're just looking for excuses to do voices, aren't you?
Why do I need excuses? I'll just do them for
True, you're
for
right.
shits and giggles.
You're right. But so we ended up tonight with the elimination. Now, the first elimination challenge was a follow Gary.
Follow and say yes, Gary, every 5
Follow
seconds.
and yes, Gary, yes, Gary, yes,
It
Gary.
was Gary's kitchen.
It was reinforce Gary's ego. That's what it was. It was reinforce Gary's ego tonight.
I thought he was gearing up for like an S&M session afterwards. Yes, Gary.
Now there were a few big issues out of tonight. There are a few big issues, and I think Kristie's watching very carefully because she knows I'm coming from the long run up tonight.
Yes.
Okay. I've been a bit ranty. I've been a little bit ranty while I was watching that episode. There were a few
He's a little bit ranty.
and I turned to my friend Anne Gripton on Twitter for the first comment, which was, "This is home cooking week." Mm-hmm. So Gary presented something that I think, as you described, it looked like Kermit vomit.
Yes, it did.
Because when we do chicken and vegetables, and for those of you who like peas, we don't particularly, but for those of you who like peas, if you do chicken and vegetables with peas and a gravy, you're doing a solid... No. We're doing a fancy, quenelle the peas into a... Hang on. We need to get the fact that he actually said, we're not just making peas. We're not just making pea puree. Pea custard.
Pea custard, oh my God. Oh. And I liked, who was it?
It's like combining two of baby's least favourite foods into one.
Yeah. No, I think it was Lee who said, pea custard, never heard of it, never eaten it. And I'm like, Lee, you're not the only one.
Everyone at home is going, that stash of pea custard that I keep just for this sort of occasion. No, you could have just gone and got the pea baby food and just slop that on the plate.
In the half an hour I give a shit about making dinner, I'm thinking about pea custard.
Exactly, that's all I'm after. So, for home cooked week, it's a pretty shitty home cooked task.
Yeah, I get he was trying to fancy up a typical roast, and I liked the overdone potatoes. Like, if you're going to cook potatoes in that much butter, how fucking good was that? Like, that was good.
It was good.
That was phenomenal.
I mean, you know me, I prefer to just soak them in duck fat, but
if you don't have duck fat,
just soak them in like...
Soak them in 6 ounces of butter.
Now, my second concern.
Raise a doctor?
That's my big thing I took out of this. Now, when they did the recipe originally, they called for 70 mil.
No, 50 mils of cream.
So I thought originally it was 70 mils of cream, but...
Okay.
And then they went 170. And then when they were talking about it later on, they went 50, 150. I'm sure he said 70 and 170. I stand to be corrected. Either way, for a doctor to get it wrong by 100 mils...
Let me just titrate your dose.
So everybody, if you're getting a script, just check it.
That said...
You want me to take how much of this, doctor? 7 kilos? Oh, I meant 7 mils. My mistake. Whoopsie!
What's this? 7 megatons? Oh, that should be an ml.
But, and step by step, follow me, procedural, that should be a doctor easily. And he burned an empty pan. He doesn't have butter in it. Butter doesn't count. The pan has nothing but butter in it, and he burnt the pan. And I don't mean, oh, look, it's slightly charring. I mean, it was burning, and he was waving it around the kitchen when he went to the sink. And it wasn't like he was just going to just throw it in the sink and wash it down and fix that up. No. He was waving it around the herbs. I thought he was going to set fire to the herb garden.
This is the thing, right? Like, I don't think that they've taught them well in kitchen safety. Like, when I was a Girl Guide, we had to do some brief outline of kitchen safety. Like, we were cooking popcorn and our leader said, if it catches on fire, put a lid on it. Because why? Starves it air. And then you can move it around. And you're not, like, waving, like, flames around the kitchen trying to set the rest of the shit on fire.
Look what I've done!
Yeah, it was just a simple put the lid on, so every time you're cooking with something with a bit of fat or oil that could catch fire, have a lid handy that fits the pot and pop it on. And he just looked like he was panicking.
And it was then the way that he sort of went, oh, maybe if I put them back in the oven, maybe my pea custards will set properly. No, by that point they looked pretty much like mini soufflés. Nothing like a custard. There was no chance that was going to reset, and you could tell it was granular, it was screwed, and everyone's looking off the gantry going, ooh, 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 and he was so far behind on the instructions, and he was clearly going home, and then Lee forgot to turn the chicken over.
Yeah.
And it was right in front of him. What I get is, I'm waiting for someone to respond back to me and go, oh, it was stress. No, there was stress involved, but yeah, while there's stress involved, the chicken was sitting that way up.
Yeah.
He could clearly see it was raw. He was looking directly at it. That's not stress. He just wasn't paying attention.
You know what I feel sorry about Lee for, though? He works in hospitality. How much shit is he going to be copping?
Oh, next time he puts a Bain Marie out with all the food on it.
Yeah, or serves up someone a chicken shitty. Oh, I hope it's not raw, Lee.
I hope you cooked that properly, Leo.
Hilarious.
Oh, he's going to cop it so much in the hospitality industry. But I think there are a couple of other little bits and pieces from tonight. They got right up to the point where it's clear that there's the elimination coming. And kudos to Channel 10, by the way, who on one of the promos leading in said, it's raw chicken will always send you home. So we knew that whoever's chicken was raw was the one going home. That was the first step there. Studio 10 then trolling everybody by putting out a promo on the way in that basically said that it was Ray going home.
I know, because they had a vegetable stack.
And they were talking about, they basically trolled everyone with that, but they need to stop doing that. I know they're trying to be clever and funny. It's not clever, it's not funny, it's just annoying is what it is.
Just to show us a bit of respect as your audience,
And that brings me to this point. And I commented on this, and I don't even think you saw it. I love MasterChef.
I love it.
I absolutely love this show. I love what it does in terms of the cooking. I love the fact that it focuses on cooking. I love the fact that it provides usually really good food and a good experience.
And you learn stuff.
Yeah, a good experience. But this season, week 1 hasn't been its finest hour. I'm not really enjoying week 1. It's been a difficult week in terms of enjoying MasterChef. And I don't want to bang the drum, but it's going back to, I think, the 2.5 hour episode when they got them all in the kitchen first up. It killed momentum because we didn't get that little short burst of watching everyone cook and go, oh, that's awesome. It dragged so early, and I'm still struggling to work out who's who. I'm still struggling to care about anybody at this point in time. It will come, and I know it will eventually come, but you can't afford a slow start.
I agree on some parts in terms of the pacing. I'm learning more of the people's names this year. I think it's because I'm being more conscientious about it. But it's still the people who I care about at the moment are nowhere near the bottom. We come to these bottom people and... sorry, top people. We come to these people who are getting chucked out. And I think tonight's interviewing with the whole... what's your food dream and why do you want to be here? It's so disingenuous.
Yeah, my tweet tonight that MasterChef replied to, and whoever's running their social media accounts, you probably have read it a bit more carefully. Because my tweet tonight was at one point when they got to Lee and they asked Lee they sat Lee down and they're going through his dish and they look at him and they go, so why do you want to be in the competition? What is it about you? Blah, blah. And they're trying to get him to do the sell yourself thing. And my comment was, no, Gary, we don't care at this point in time.
No.
Just taste the food and send someone home.
Yeah.
We're in this early phase of, you start trimming people. And again, it's nothing about these people. It's just that you have to cut it down from 24. There was one scene earlier when they were showing in the last episode where everyone was going in the kitchen at once. Yeah. And it just looked like absolute bedlam and chaos and like a whole pile of random people who walked into a kitchen. We're not at that point where it really looks like a competition yet.
No, not at all.
And so the disingenuous, and I know you're trying to give everyone their 5 minutes and you're trying to give everyone their focus and you're trying to get everybody on camera for their period of time. But it just, you're right, it didn't come across as genuine. It came across as, I have to ask you this question. And Lee's answer came across as, I'm going to give you the stock standard answer you expect.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even mind is when they, when they go back and they just have them sitting in front of the MasterChef logo, kind of talking about their cooking stuff. I wouldn't mind a little bit of change up with the editing where they go, oh, look, I got into this because I wanted to X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and not the sob story, by the way, because the sob story, at one point early, they went for the sob story with Ray really early tonight, about being away from his children. And yeah, you're a father and being away from your kids, but...
You chose this.
Also saying, I'm sacrificing. You're on a cooking TV show. Mm-hmm. It's a sacrifice, dude.
It's an opportunity.
It's public exposure and an opportunity. If you're looking at it as I'm sacrificing and giving all this stuff up, again, you're not working for minimum wage, or in some people's cases, less than minimum wage, and sweating away in a kitchen for no real reason. You're getting national exposure and the opportunity to then work in some other kitchens because you're on TV.
Yeah.
And you're getting a leg up that a lot of people in the hospitality industry would kill for.
Exactly. And I think it's, he obviously knows hard work because he's a doctor.
Exactly.
You know what hard work is. He knows what sacrifice is. If, I've worked in the hospitals down in Wollongong and I know how hard pressed the doctors are down there. It's more that... It just doesn't come off as genuine, and there's no genuine passion there.
And the problem is there is a certain formula, and I know they have to hold sort of to the certain formula. But one of the things that was said pre-season, and Matt Preston said it, and I think the producers should probably have had a bit more of a listen to what Matt said, because I agree with him 100%. He said a couple of years ago they almost walked away. And the reason they almost walked away was they thought they were so formulaic that it was getting a bit tiresome and boring. And one of the things they agreed was, if we come back, we're breaking the formula down and we're going to go back and just go back to cooking stuff. And I think that it's very easy to get lost in a formula. The good thing with MasterChef is that it's a show that can break out of that at any moment.
Exactly. Like tomorrow night, there's a big opportunity. We've got Eloise, Carly, and Sarah.
Yes.
3 women whose names I remember.
That's a good start.
Yeah, whose cooks I remember.
Who made some really good stuff.
Yeah, like Sarah, I'm so excited about. Just the way her mind works. Like when she was there and she's like, oh, prawn heads. I can make a prawn oil and throw this into that.
That was great.
Yeah.
Watching her cook. Because again, I watched it late. When I was watching it late, you're like, you got to watch out for this. When I watch it, I'm like... Yeah, no, definitely. That was really good stuff.
And I had like surround sound because I was eating a prawn chili Thai dish.
Yeah, and Carly
I was watching it.
And Carly with her the sesame seed,
balls.
they were amazing.
Oh, because you were. I didn't want to say anything because I could see you watching it and you're like, oh, I don't know how these are going to turn out. And I had the same thoughts. But it was when they did that shot into the pan where she thinks she's got to leave them there a bit longer, and I'm thinking, oh, these fuckers are going to burn, aren't they? I looked down, they're still not quite golden. I thought, oh, this is a contender. And then bang.
Yep. And again, this is what it can do. And hopefully it's what it does do.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of these things where we're not going to skewer a show, and we're not going to also, damn it with faint praise. It's where we think it is. We're not saying that the show's horrible. On the contrary, the show's still great.
Yeah.
It's just that I think they didn't have the best first week out of the blocks, and I think they put themselves behind the 8 ball trying to avoid my kitchen rules.
Yeah.
Which again was a smart move, but they then should have just moved the lineup for week 1.
Exactly. Like put it on a Friday night. Have a special on a Friday night.
And as I said, I think they'll recover. I think that we're now back into normal episodes and the normal run of things.
Yep.
And I think that we're probably about to start getting, and again, we're starting to lose some people. And it sounds cruel for me to go, we're losing people, it's about to get good.
No, it's true.
I just can't remember, again...
Cutting the chaff.
I still think the bearded guy last year, I think it was Ashley.
Ashley, yes.
Again, I remember his name now. I didn't know his name during the whole of last season.
I remember his shirt choices.
And we all know Trent, but we only know Trent because they used to refuse to show Trent.
That's right.
So the rest
poor
of us,
Trent.
So the rest of us made it our mission on online to learn Trent because poor Trent could never get camera time.
Yes.
So, again, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
You're excited. You're very much... You like Big Kev? You're excited?
Yes, I'm not like Big Kev quite like him because I'm still alive.
You are still alive and you're not selling cleaning products.
Well, I could be.
And
I should be
And as
selling
far as I'm aware, you don't own any big jumbo Australian flag shirts.
Not that you've seen. I save them for special occasions.
I'm looking forward to that special occasion, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we're looking at a really good episode tomorrow night for Immunity. And then I think we're about to hit the run. I think we're about to get into the normal run of episodes and we're about to get into the normal way the show works, which should be good.
It is. I mean, this week is still home cooking week. So they're still without their appliances. We still have Callan kind of like...
How is it that an 18-year-old can't cope without gizmos and gadgets in the kitchen? Surely you learn to cook the basics first.
I don't know, mister. Hey, I've just been down to this place and they had like a pressure cooker for half price, so I bought it.
I can cook without it.
I know, but you still got a lot of gadgets.
I've got them. It doesn't mean I have to use them.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I like the thing I like about him is that, you know, he's into the science of cooking.
Yeah, he's still pretty cool.
And I like that. Again, you know, The Food Lab, great book, Kenshi Lopez-Alt. You know, shout out Fee for giving me the tip on that one.
Oh, sorry, there was that name again.
I know, that name just fell on the ground. Oh, bend down and pick it up. But, yeah, the Food Lab by J. Kenji Lopez-Alt talking about, you know, the science behind why you do what you do in the kitchen. And it's the sort of book I think he probably loves and adores and learns from.
Yeah.
And it's great. So there are a lot of exciting chefs and cooks in this.
Jess is looking strong. Her was a cheesecake with the pomegranate on top. Cheesecake.
I was actually surprised that didn't
hit in top 5.
Yeah, because I looked at that and that was the one that I sort of looked at and went, well, that's interesting. I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of pomegranate, but I looked at that and went, that'll be nice.
It was interesting to see who slipped up into the middle of the pack. So Ben, we barely heard from tonight, which I think quite a few viewers were thankful for.
What, you're saying we had a bit of a Ben overload in the first couple of episodes?
Just a bit.
I didn't go in that hard. Yeah, I did. I really did. Yeah, I piled in.
Ben, again, you know, I want to like him, and I think he's, you know, there's just something that's a bit too orkies about him, but
he's got the same. He's the opposite side of the pod to Pete.
Pete's just real down to earth.
What I'm worried about with Pete is that it sounds a little bit, and I don't think it is. I think it's genuinely him.
Yeah.
But it could be really easy to find out that that's sort of something that he's decided to do for the run of the show, just to get himself more camera time.
Yeah.
Used to be Pete, the crane dryer.
Taking food to new heights.
I'm Pete. I'm taking food to new heights. I saw this thing where there was gel. So I decided I'm going to do some gel.
What do you call this, Pete?
Gel.
Oh, why would you want to go out for that?
I'm going to have a rack of lamb with some gel and a little bit of halloumi in the ducker. Yeah,
and again, I know he's trying to prove his worth, but it was just crowbarring that into that brief.
Yeah, and as I said, it's probably genuine Pete, but there is an outside chance that it just felt a little bit like, you know, the opposite end of the Ben spectrum.
Yeah.
You know, Ben's sort of with that, I'm really good at this, cut to Ben messing it up and going, apparently I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few... I feel for anyone who's slightly socially awkward, because I would come off as the biggest nutter on one of these reality shows. I'd be like, they're singing away. Like, I really felt for, was it Eloise, when she did her little song? What did she sing? I'm the baking queen. I'm like, that's so me.
Yeah.
Except I couldn't bake.
No, that really is you. That is the sort of thing you do. So that'd be awesome. I don't mind that. That's good.
Yeah, and I want to inhale her pasties.
Yeah, can we clarify pasties?
As opposed to pasties.
Pasties, because that's a whole other podcast, and we don't really have time.
That would be interesting, having pasties. Just MasterChef After Dark.
Just dwell on that for a moment, people. Much like hot dogs once hosted Big Brother After Dark.
The lights dim in the MasterChef kitchen. Some strong trombone comes on. And out comes George. And Matt in high heels.
Oh,
Probably Matt.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listeners.
In just a cravat.
I'm sorry, listeners. I'm really sorry. On that bombshell, we should probably leave this episode.
No, it's hilarious.
We should definitely leave this episode of the washing up right there. But we'll be back later on this week. We're also going to be back for our Eurovision special, so keep an eye out for that too.
Everybody dance. Come on and dance. Come on and boom, boom.
Dance. So we'll be back for Eurovision as well, but we've got, in the meantime, we've got the episodes leading up to the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, there's the Sunday night special. I always refer to it as a special.
So special. We'll be a little
Special.
tired.
We'll be Eurovisioning all day, but
yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a nap in the middle of there. But anyway.
And celebrating.
So hopefully celebrating an
Italia.
Italian victory. What we'll give you all a heads up with regards to what we're doing. We suspect we're going to do one after both, just a combined one after the semis.
Yeah.
And then we'll do something after the grand final. So that could be fun. Look out for that. In the meantime, I've been Chris.
I've been Kristie.
This has been The Washing Up, and we'll catch you all later.
Ciao.